Welcome to Marketecture, where you can get smart fast with in-depth interviews of leading technology vendors. I am Eric Seufert, and I am here with Levi Matkins, who is the CEO of LifeStreet. Levi, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Eric.
Well, thank you for coming on Marketecture. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day. So I'll kick off the interview with the very high-level question. What does LifeStreet do?
Sure. So, at its core, LifeStreet's an in-app programmatic marketing platform built for performance advertisers to acquire ROI positive users at scale. So, we help typically mobile marketers acquire incremental new users profitably. So everything we do is, bidding into ad exchanges with the, driving kind of principle of generating return on ad spend for our partners.
Let's talk product.
Sure.
So what does LifeStreet's product do? How does it work exactly?
Sure. I mean, you can think of us, if you're familiar, obviously, as you are, with a mobile DSP, that is the product, is a bidding platform to participate in real-time auctions and find sort of the right price to pay for an auction and the right creative to show. So, if you think about it, that is, generally centralized sort of in what we call our prediction engine and then sort of the DSP platform. Those are kind of the two product pillars that we have. So, a lot of the core development goes around sort of how we bid and what we bid and the algorithms behind that. And then the tooling to help people sort of target and optimize those buys.
Got it. And who would you consider to be your most direct competitors?
When you look at it, there's like a couple of lenses. I mean, the sort of like big obvious lens is we compete against, everybody else for those media dollars. So to some degree, we compete against Google and Facebook. To a more direct degree, then you start to get into like the AppLovins, Unities of the world. And then, once we get drilled down more and more to the programmatic space, it looks, a lot more like, say, Moloco and Liftoff would be probably the two biggest well-known players in the space.
Got it. And so having established the competitive set, what makes your product unique from those competitors?
Sure. I mean, I think we've taken a little bit of a different approach to sort of what we call transparency and how we define transparency and the controls that we give advertisers. So we kind of view this process as, I think we're on a journey, a multi-year journey with our partners to give them more and more control over their media buys and give them more transparency. And I think a lot of people talk about transparency, and I think probably a lot of people talk about control. I think it's kind of, once you get a little bit deeper is sort of where you start to notice those differences. So for us, we rolled out a new platform earlier this year that we're super excited about. One of the kind of core components to that is sort of what we're calling like our bidding formula transparency. So when you think about like, how anybody sort of in this space works is, we're all trying to predict outcomes essentially, right? So we have a whole bunch of data coming in, and then there's a lot of machine learning that happens sort of in the background, which is a little bit inherently black box-ish. I think that's kind of is what it is. But essentially that stuff then all gets, combined together with whatever else you've layered on top of it into the actual bid into the marketplace. So, what we're starting to do is expose that actual formula. Because the output of a model, typically is essentially a number between a 0 and a 1. And, oftentimes you're stacking multiple models together. So like in our case, we often use like an install propensity model as sort of the basic type of model. And then you're either layering on, a purchase propensity model in the case of app developers, sometimes retention models, things like that. Mm-hmm. You may layer on a bid shading model. These things are all, it's basically just a math equation that is fitting together that, what we have seen is that is like massively impactful to the actual outcomes for advertisers. And so we're starting to expose more and more of that to, not just the advertisers, which we do, but to the business users at LifeStreet so that they can go in and test and change components of these formulas and actually find sort of the combination of these algorithms and how they're assembled to drive the best success for advertisers.